Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to SempreInterTV, where today I'm going to be reviewing that all-important, massive 1-0 win against Verona at San Siro. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and let us know what you think in the comments down below. The first half was a sort of a tactical head-to-head really between Conte and Juric. I mean, Juric showing everything he's been lauded for this season. Really, that Verona side, he's getting the best out of them. And that first half, they kind of just neutralised each other. I think Inter had some decent chances, and they weren't particularly bad. Hakimi had that shot, and there was a couple of other opportunities as well. So I think all in all, it wasn't a bad first half. It just lacked that little spark at the end. The sort of the final ball, the shot just couldn't get it on target and couldn't get it beyond Silvestri in that first half. So it was quite frustrating all round. But I think actually Conte's just happy with the lead we've got in the table. He's not trying to go gung ho. He's just trying to sit back and go, you know what, we're going to find a goal. We've got outlets to score goals. We're going to find that breakthrough at some point. So just stay calm, stay relaxed, and don't rush anything. And I think that's exactly what we've seen these last few games against Spezia and against Napoli, and I think even more so today against Verona. So I think that first half went as well as it could have done, to be honest. I think we're not going to be seeing lots of goals between now and the end of the season. I think Conte's just willing to get it over the line. So that first half was an indication of that, and it sort of set the scene really for the game. Yeah, it was an interesting start to the second half, having Verona make those two changes to centre-backs. Magnani in particular, who was struggling against Lukaku in the first half. They were both on yellow cards, those two centre-backs, so it was a bit of a surprise to see them taken off at half-time, but I think that changed the dynamic, and I think Juric was sort of looking to make sure that neither of them were sent off for some more fouls on Lukaku in the second half. But it seemed to work. They seemed to neutralise Lukaku a bit more in the second half, and we weren't getting as many balls into him, and it just looks a bit more difficult. And the spark in midfield, I mean, Eriksen had some fantastic balls in. I thought Eriksen was the best of the three midfielders today. I think Brozovic and Barella a little bit off the pace. But I think it was unfortunate Eriksen got subbed off. I think he should have stayed on for a bit longer. But Sensi was fantastic. He came on and he did his job very well. Sort of nicked a few balls, created a bit of space. But of course, you've got to give a mention to Matteo Darmian again, popping up with another crucial goal. Hakimi to Darmian, this right back to left wing back thing that's just happening. It's just fantastic, and it just shows this squad is so united and every person is important. And when Lukaku and Lautaro don't score, and Lautaro was really unfortunate not to score today, but it's 4 games that neither of them have scored, which is a little bit worrying if we weren't so far ahead in the table. But we're getting goals from elsewhere, and that's what's important. And obviously it was a bit nervy. I don't know what went on with that Handanovic. What probably should have been a goal. I don't know how he just dropped that. It literally looked like he just dropped it. So I'm very surprised that didn't go to VAR. Maybe there was a shoulder and a handball. I'm really not sure. I need to see it again. So there was some nervy moments for sure to close out that game. But at the end of the day, the defence got it done. The defence was solid. We're hardly conceding any goals, and we're 5 points away from the title. Top. I mean, we're top, into a top. We're 5 points away from the league, and I think some fantastic performances today. The defence, all back three, as ever, just absolutely rock solid. And you win titles off defences, and we've shown that since the defence has solidified itself as that back three. We've been impenetrable, really. And today just held absolutely solid today. Some fantastic performances. I think Eriksen was fantastic in midfield. I thought he had some really good balls, some dangerous plays as well, and I was unfortunate that he was taken off early. I think Lautaro played really well again. Lukaku was so important. Obviously he didn't get a goal or sort of an assist or anything, but he was fantastic for the team as always. But I think top for me, aside from the Matteo Darmian goal, another crucial goal that he scored, I think has to go to Hakimi. He played well in the first half. He's looked a bit off the beat the last couple of games, so he came back into this, found some space early on in that first half on that right hand side, popping up with some good chances. Had the shot that was saved by Silvestri, and then he had that free kick that hit the post, just really unlucky, and then he pops up with the assist for Darmian in the sort of the 75th minute as well. So I mean, I think he had a great game, and I think top for me is therefore Hakimi, but equally the squad. We're 5 points away from the Scudetto. Let's go. Flop for me is it would have been a tight one if that goal that Verona scored towards the end had stood, and I probably think it should have done. then Handanovic, I'd be talking about that error again, another error costing us points. But as it happens, it wasn't given, so I can't give that flop to Handanovic. So I think for me the flop is going to be Barella, unfortunately. He's just not looked himself, particularly today and the last few games. Actually, he's not been the sort of the dynamite that we saw in the first sort of 2/3 of the season. He's dropped off, and maybe it's a fatigue thing, maybe it's a tiredness thing. I think it's probably that more than tactically or anything else that's changed. But I think he just looked a bit off the boil today. Brozovic as well a little bit, but I think more so Barella today. I mean, you can't fault his tenacity and his work rate, even to the end, that 50-50 tackle with Lazovic right near the end. He's putting in 110%, but it's just, there's something missing, the little spark, and maybe it's because we've set such high standards for him, and it is only his second season. You kind of forget how raw and how young he is. But I think, unfortunately for me today, I think the flop has to be Barella.